Ed? How you doing, pal?
All right, I didn't think you'd be in until this afternoon.
Well, neither did I.
My racquetball game got canceled.
I was already at the club warming up, and Senator Collins called and said he had the flu. Oh, my tell you, fading cream again.
Hello, Susan Gallagher there. Fine, I'll hold.
How you doing?
Hi there.
Goodbye. I think it holds for these.
Tell her it's Billy Newman. I promise you she'll talk to me.
A while from to establish communication. Prisoners want to talk to the media. They say they'll exchange one hostage for every interview with a reporter.
That's 150 reporters. Glad you're here. We'll get you right up there.
I think Senator has the flu, huh?
Lou, can I talk to you?
Not this minute.
It has to be now.
How'd you do that?
The Old Girl Network. You know I want to expand beyond Metro, and this prison ride is the perfect stepping stone.
Pomeroy's already on his way.
Because he got you first. I was 2 feet behind him.
No, it's because he's very experienced and very good. He covered Attica and Santa Fe. He's the first one I would have...
From another airport.
You think so?
We can't wait on this one. It's major, I can feel it.
I already checked with Van Nuys. Danny Evanston's flying out there.
Here you go. Why is Danny heading up?
And chartered by someone else. Helen Patterson.
What's she working for now?
Time and Newsweek, I forget which. West Coast Bureau Chief.
That woman snaps up stories like a lizard after flies. Leave it to her to have the only flight.
Negotiate.
With Helen Patterson?
Yeah, I'm sorry. I really am. I just feel dreadful about it. Yeah. Well, have pity on your old mom, will you? After all, I'm the one who's going to have to schlep up there. I promise. Yeah, on your grandmother's chest pie. We'll do it. Uh-huh. As soon as I get back. Okay, bye, partner. Hello, who's this?
Lou Grant, Miss Patterson, Metro editor of the Tribune. You don't know me, but you once... West Coast Daily, the news magazine?
Look, I like to be first on the scene. You get a better motel room, right? Away from the ice machine.
Or close to it. Depends on your point of view. Look, we'll even pick up the tab for the charter. How's that?
No dice.
Hey, the giant plane missed it. I'll let him use our stuff.
Oh, I'm paying back a 5-year-old debt, right?
Look at it this way. He'll have someone on the plane to play cards with.
I hate cards. Have your person there by 12.
It might be 2 persons.
2!
Thank you very much, Helen. Remember, I owe you for this.
I'm writing it down.
Billy, you're going with Ben. We'll get foolish on the wires.
Great, Lou. Thanks a lot. I got to change the clothes in my car.
What's that all about?
Let's try to get there for both of you.
Oh, I don't think so.
Look, get up there, check it out, and let us know. Then we'll reassess, all right?
Hey, come on. I got off 2 minutes ago. Give me a ride.
Will you phone Ted and tell him I'll call him when I get up there?
Sure.
Thanks.
Have fun. Who you said he took a desto?
The ship has sailed.
Don't I get a shot at it?
But I hear the line started at 7:30 a.m. It's too late.
That figures.
You got a cold?
Allergies. I couldn't get out of bed this morning.
Yeah, it's off.
You'll feel better when you see what Donovan has for you from the environment desk.
What is it?
The Julian Sphinx moth is in danger of extinction.
You're joking.
He is not. It's the hottest bug story we've had in months. Come on, Rossi. It's the bee's knees.
Unicom, go ahead.
I'll check it out. There's a storm up north. You'll have to get over that weather, which means you'll be cruising at about 17,000.
The plane can take it, right?
Yeah, just need oxygen masks on.
Oh.
17,000 pieces, no big deal.
Fine. Let's go.
My seats at Dodger Stadium are higher than that.
Taking time talking about it.
Look, was the one that made me finally understand what was going on in Vietnam. I'm really pleased to meet you.
Thank you. That's very kind. Let me squeeze on one more.
That's a 4-seater. We've got a 6-seater coming in from Tahoe in about 2 hours.
Sorry, Bob. Just can't take the time.
Luck of the Irish.
Good to see you.
Bye.
Go ahead. There's a reasonable coffee shop midfield in Westminster.
So this moth only breeds in one barley field in Kern County, and it only lives for 7 days?
They thought it was extinct for 50 years, but it was rediscovered in 1978. Scientists have to keep its breeding ground a secret because for years collectors have been searching for this one specific moth species. I mean, it's a great adventure story.
Just don't take any wool sweaters with you. Sure. Think you can handle this animal?
Sure, why not?
Well, last week you missed that hostage release at the liquor store.
Oh, yeah, the cops wouldn't let us behind their lines.
And yesterday that congressman got away from you somehow.
Bad luck. What do you think I should have done?
I think you could have been a little more aggressive.
Rosenthal, rewrite.
They're bringing the spy back to L.A. tonight, Wolszowski. What we got on it? Billy.
1493 Victor, Evanston Unicom, over.
93 Victor, reading you, over.
Do not proceed to active runway. Need you to return to ramp. One of your passengers has to get off, over.
for Mr. Macho Reporter.
His stories sound glamorous. But you know what he's doing right now? Standing in the rain, drinking cold coffee, waiting for a bunch of psychopaths to stop hacking each other to death. Pretty close to heaven, huh? Charlie, we want to talk to you about the Warshawski spy thing. Charlie?
Bad news. Terrible news. I just heard from the airport. Plane we chartered went down over the mountains a couple hours ago.
Survivors?
No survivors.
Lou Grant will continue in a moment here on A&E.
They were the itches of being on that plane.
I was on that plane.
Born Manhattan, August 4th, 1940. Mother Ingrid Sexton. Father Judge Samuel Pomeroy. First Circuit Court, Long Island. Hobbies? Needlepoint and nude volleyball. Wise guy.
Does anybody call Ted? Oh my God, he's gonna think I was on that plane. I gotta call Ted.
All hell's breaking loose in Modesto, you know. We're gonna have to send somebody else up there. Don't look at me like that. You were thinking of business, too.
Put Rosenthal on the next commercial flight.
Oh, sweetheart, it's me. I'm all right. I'm okay. A plane went down, didn't you hear? Yeah. I was on it, but I got off before it left. I'm okay. Yes. Please. Yeah, that would be good. I just need to be with you.
This is the El Segundo Blue. It used to range 37 miles up and down the sandhills of the Pacific shoreline. Now it's been reduced to a tiny plot in the middle of an oil refinery. But a local butterfly protection society convinced the oil company to fence off the habitat to save the species. So that's where it lives, in this tiny little island in the middle of the asphalt.
Too bad.
Well, that's the way the world will look in the year 2000. Only the weed species will survive. You won't see a red wolf or bald eagle in the wild. It'll be you and me, hopefully. Cockroaches, mosquitoes, and dandelions. Here we are. The ecological consequences would be if the Julian Sphinx moth became extinct.
Why not?
Well, we simply don't know enough about this particular moth. There are 10 billion species of plants and animals on Earth. Of those, only 1.5 million even have names. That's how much we don't know.
Boy, I thought you guys had that stuff wrapped.
The species like this are becoming extinct even before we discover them. Organisms are disappearing before we know how they can be useful to humankind.
Useful how?
Oh, gosh. Let's see. Look here. Here's a butterfly from the Orient that contains a tumor-reducing compound.
Huh.
Armadillos are becoming important in the study of leprosy. A South American rodent, the capybara, has an anti-leukemia agent in its blood. And these things have been... Pay attention. Now.
Charlie, you ready?
I suppose. I don't know why I agreed to this. Why should I give the eulogy? I'm the one responsible.
I won't have you blaming yourself.
Pretty hard not to.
Charlie, I could have said charter a plane just as easily as you.
Yeah, but you didn't.
It was a fluke. I think the crash was due to icing conditions, but they won't know for months.
It's a few hours. Could have waited for a commercial flight. Shouldn't have pushed it.
They were running for a hot breaking story. Any one of us would have gotten on that plane.
Anything you say at that memorial service will be more satisfying than the obituaries I read in the Tribune.
What's wrong with them?
I didn't get anything from what you ran except the usual. This one was a crack reporter, that an independent woman and a brilliant interviewer. And this one wrote a famous book. Isn't there more?
I guess because they were reporters, we backed off.
These reporters died trying to get a story. That's a story. I want to know who they were, why they were on that plane.
I agree with Charlie's instinct. I'd be afraid of that. It's self-serving.
Well, I can understand your fear. These are tough, competitive reporters. Each of them must have been driven. Why look too closely? There may be things about ourselves as journalists we'd rather not find out.
Lou Grant will continue in a moment here on A&E.
Lou, our told me about the feature on Palmer, Patterson, and O'Brien, and I want to be involved.
Are you sure you really want to put yourself through all that?
I don't know how else I'm going to stop having nightmares. I'm feeling so guilty. And at the same time, so grateful it wasn't me, and sickened and just amazed by my own dumb luck. Why them and not me?
Well, you're not going to figure that out in 1,500 words.
The only way I know how to get through this is to write about it.
You know that he also had a law degree?
Covered every war in the last 15 years. He'd go anywhere where it was really bad. Went to Palermo to cover the mafia, Culiacan, Mexico to cover the drug trade.
When the U.S. and Cambodian governments couldn't have cared less, he hired mercenaries to go in and retrieve the bodies of reporters who were killed in Cambodia. You know what he did after the assassination of Sadat, don't you?
No, what?
Oh, this is famous.
What?
Well, he was in Rome on a vacation when he first heard the news. He does not wait a second. He charters an executive jet, a jet, mind you, puts it on his credit card and takes off for Cairo.
Knowing the paper would pay for it.
I find that hard to believe. That the paper would pay.
It's true. It's true. He had Miss Pynchon eaten out of his hand. Nobody knew him better than I did. It's true.
How did you get to know him?
I used to drive him to the airport a lot, bring him back, when he came in. It was pretty often since he used to travel so much. I'd pick up his mail, take care of his dog.
You consider Pomeroy a close friend?
A great friend. I mean, we were buddies. Like, we used to stop by this bar at the marina where they had these turtle races.
I know that place. It's a real single scene.
What about his wife? How did she feel about it?
Ex-wife. That's how.
Lance packed up Ben's things.
Yeah, that was real sweet of him. I think I'll just go through and take the things that mean something.
What'll I do?
I'm sorry, where were we?
I think you were saying you were married young.
Oh, yes, in college. And then I majored in being the new bride. You know, lunch with the girlfriends, cooking and shopping.
Doesn't sound bad.
Yeah, it was real difficult. I'm sorry, can we go someplace else?
Denise, I'm sorry. Come on.
Oh, it was my fault. It was totally my fault. I screwed everything up.
Can you tell me?
I suddenly decided that I was as creative as he was. And I wanted to do something wonderful. Suddenly, we both had schedules, and at the end of the day, Ben would bring half the city room home with him. All young reporters. They thought the world of him. But I wasn't as interested in his friend.
Maybe you outgrew him.
I outgrew him. No, that's impossible. Look what he achieved. How can what I've done ever equal that?
Lou wants Moz, I'll get him Moz. So, what's on your mind?
Ben Pomeroy. I just wanted to ask you a few questions.
No, it's not a good time. Stop doing that, Ian. We got along great.
Yeah?
Yeah, we did a series on What's together.
I remember that.
It never ran. He wanted portraits, skylines, dawn, dusk. I was overshooting like crazy. You know what? His story didn't have it, and he was hoping the pictures would pull him out. He couldn't go to the desk and say, help, it's not working. That would have blown the image.
A lot of people bought that image.
Yeah, being a winner was important to him. Made him a good reporter, but it made him impossible to work with. He had to be the teacher.
I talked to his ex-wife, and Pomeroy was very unhappy when she started her own business. She ventured out on her own, and he felt threatened.
Listen, he felt threatened when I told him we didn't need another shot of Watts Towers.
Oh, boy.
Not going to be easy to write, is it?
Guys in the city room aren't going to like this much. And anyway, why should I expose him? The man is dead.
Look at it this way. He'd have done the same for you.
I guess this one's all yours.
Don't be a sore loser, Newman.
Next time.
Many of the inmates ask for you.
Tell him I send my love.
Right.
Well, have a good trip.
Drive carefully on your way back now.
Lou Grant will continue in a moment here on
Miles away, but it looks like a potential for another colony.
Where are we looking for them?
They fly close to the ground. Or they'll be sunning themselves.
Sunning themselves? You mean like people?
Yes. They bask in the sun until their bodies absorb enough heat to be able to fly.
No kidding.
Price, works for the Tribune.
Hello there, Dennis. I read many of your articles with great pleasure, Dr. Wilbert.
I've read yours.
I don't know what luck you've had with the Populonidae, but I just took a copulating pair in mint condition. They were hilltopping on that ridge over there.
Great, thanks.
Have they still got you working on the Julian Sphinx moth?
Well, that's one of my projects.
Have you found the breeding ground?
The Julian is endangered, Colonel.
Well, it's not on the endangered list.
Well, we're fighting to get it there. Look, I can't force you, but I strongly request that you not collect that species. We could lose it altogether.
As you receive, Doctor. I'd rather wait for a healthy population anyway. Well, have a nice day.
That guy's one of the worst. Big amateur collector, and all they quick mail? Maybe $700.
I wanted to know how you're doing on a triple profile.
Billy Patterson needs on Pomeroy, but she's having trouble with Bob O'Brien. He's a lot harder to track down.
From what I hear, he was a reclusive guy. He had a drinking problem.
Billy says his...
And could have been a superstar. Could have sunk into obscurity. With him, it could have gone either way.
Okay, this will help.
What do you think about the story?
Yeah, next week.
See if you can hurry it up.
Put that lead on O'Brien for you.
Oh, great. Thanks a lot.
Hey, coming. Any answers to those cosmic questions?
I wish. So far, it's all just depressing me.
Well, I want to get started on Helen Patterson. I'll let you know.
Don't let your editor push you around.
Well, this other story's mine, too.
Oh.
There's a story around that won't have your name on it?
Step on somebody's toes once upon a time? Phew.
How long did you work for Helen Patterson?
Only 6 months, but that's about all I could take. Want some cream?
No, thanks. What was the problem?
She wanted everything typed perfect. I mean, a manuscript, you can get away with whiting it out. But letters? Forget it. She'd make you do the whole thing over.
What was the manuscript?
Oh, it was this book she was writing on women in prison. I couldn't stand to read it. All those pitiful stories. Why couldn't she pick something cheerful?
She was famous for her interviews with difficult people. Did you ever talk about that?
Not much. She once asked me if I liked this dress she had on.
Really?
Yeah. Well, she wanted to make the right impression on famous people, I guess. She didn't know how to dress. Always the same old stuff.
You told her all that you got along.
She was kooky. No men in her life. Everything was so serious. And the job just wasn't any fun.
Could I see the manuscript on prisons?
I sent it back to her son, along with the rest of her things. Boy, you never get me up on one of those little planes.
This is the room that Helen Patterson wrote. They all came here for advice at one time or another.
You've evidently read my biography. Very pleased.
Actually, the best source on you is the profile Helen Patterson wrote. She really told it all.
Yes.
I guess you didn't like it very much when it appeared.
To the contrary. I thought it was marvelous.
They say she was tough. Did you two get into some arguments?
I do remember some long conversations. She seemed to fit into the background. I grew used to having her around. I liked her. She was an awkward, homely type of woman with that back problem and all. But she certainly knew how to listen. Did you know her?
Only by reputation and one conversation on the phone. I liked her, too.
God only knows what kind of life she had. Seems she gave it all to the people she was interviewing.
What exactly do you think she gave you?
Understanding.
Absolutely no one knows where this breeding ground is?
Well, just the man who rediscovered the Julian moth, the museum, and the farmer who owns the land. It's fun, actually, and he's proud of it. He won't even tell his kids which field it is.
Now, what do we do once we find the moth?
Well, it's a marked release or recapture study to determine the present population. What's up, Taylor?
Well, I suppose we're both headed to the same place.
No, I don't think so.
Well, the museum doesn't own that moth. You're not the only ones that have a right to collect it.
The species will be destroyed by overcollecting.
You have no right to withhold this from the public. I've been studying this for a lifetime.
Don't pretend to be a scientist. You're nothing but a selfish, greedy creature. You're going too far. No! You've gone too far. Now, that's it. The study's over. No one will see the Julian. We're going back to L.A. I'm just finding out my mother kept lots of secrets.
From you?
From the world, I guess. I was raised by my dad, you know, in Washington, D.C. Hardly saw my mother at all growing up. I didn't really get to know her at all until I came out here for college.
So she always worked as long as you can remember?
Oh, yeah. I remember once she took me to Rumpelmeyer's in New York for ice cream with some other kids who turned out to be Caroline and John Kennedy Jr. Show her. Maybe she wouldn't have gotten on that plane if I'd been more insistent about seeing her that night.
From what I know about your mother, I don't think anything would have stopped her.
Still, it was easier not to push it. We were just both feeling our way. When she said she couldn't make it, I was relieved.
Don't lay that on yourself.
Let me show you something. I just found this yesterday. She generally didn't let people in this room. I don't know why. She never let me see this before. I didn't know.
Lou Grant will continue in a moment here on A&E. Turns to Lou Grant.
Come in. Sorry it didn't work out.
After 20 years in the business, Bob had evolved a certain view of humanity, that we were selfish, petty, and incapable of being saved. I don't hold that opinion myself, except during the election years.
Was he married?
Was divorced twice.
Why? Drinking, maybe?
Well, his first wife said that she went crazy because all he could worry about was writing. And his second wife went crazy because all he could worry about was not writing.
So you have his book.
Oh, yeah.
What was he like when he was working on this?
Oh, he worked like crazy on that for over 2 years, but still didn't have it. So he took a leave of absence, went to New Hampshire, lived in a cabin in the woods, and came forth with a manuscript.
That seems pretty disciplined for somebody with a drinking problem.
There's the paradox about Bob. There was discipline and dedication that went through him like a steel bar, but also despair.
Even when the book became a bestseller?
Oh, he was high on it for a while, had all sorts of offers, including a 2-book contract.
Which he turned down?
Which he accepted, and then had a nervous breakdown over it. Just didn't think that he could write another book as brilliantly as the first.
He froze.
He sank to the bottom, terrified.
Did you see him much during that period?
No, nobody saw him. He just dropped out.
Sally will receive a brand new 25-inch color TV with stereo potential, remote control, clear resolve, and wood grain cabinet finish. And she'll be able to watch that on triple cloud carpet in lovely.
Sorry, darling.
Have fun.
Now I know how an old goat feels when a pretty young thing gives up her seat on the subway. I'm too tired to be anything more than grateful. Thanks. My God, they're allowed into first class these days.
What a spinner! How about that, audience,
Hi. I'm really new. You must be Sam?
Hi, yes, how are you?
Do you live here?
Oh, it's 2 days a week. The residents are self-sufficient. Oh, you want to know about Bob O'Brien? He left here about 6 months ago.
Excuse me, miss. But are you talking about Bob O'Brien?
Yes.
Man, that wasn't fair. Completely. And I was going to show him my outline next week.
I'm writing a story about him. An obituary, actually, and I need to know what he was like when he lived here.
When they brought
me in my stories, he would read my stories.
Bob eventually hired Lionel to do research for him on prisoners who write.
Well, I've been inside a few times, so I know. But also, he really liked my stuff.
You mean he critique your work?
Yeah, and he had rules. And if you didn't follow him, he wouldn't have nothing to do with you. Like, you had to write every day. You had to keep a journal. You had to make a schedule of your plot. And then you had to put it on index cards. And that's what I was going to show him. He gave me his keys.
See, Keith is the only one who knows where the barley field is, so if we switch cars, the colonel will think he's following Keith, but actually I'll be in the Jeep and Keith will be heading off the field.
When do you get to take the pictures?
I lose the guy. And then that's easy on these country roads, and then I'll meet Keith. It's gotta be this way. These moths are only flying a few more days.
Listen, Animal, I don't care how baroque you get, just get the pictures. No excuses.
Problem?
I respect the right of any moth to be happy to multiply. Just not when it gets in the way of a story.
You know that this planet is losing species at the rate of 1 a day?
Yeah, we lost a lot of species before man came along.
Still, I'd blow that assignment rather than lead that guy to the moth.
You're not serious.
Sure I am. Of course, I got more guts than Animal. A lot more tender.
Oh, but it wasn't there last time.
It looks like the outline for a new book.
Yeah. Sometimes he even takes me to transcribe.
It happened on Tuesday morning. In other news, let's see. Woke up today feeling clear. Worked 3 hours. Got almost through the first draft of chapter 1.
This here's his journal. He kept it on
Interrupted by
tape.
a lady downstairs. She said she knew she could visit because all I was doing was typing. I told her never to visit when she hears typing.
Find out how he's done. If it's good enough, maybe I can use his piece in the book. The old lady reminds me, our need to remember the past is narcotic. A defense against the terror of the present moment.
Some people liked him, some didn't. I did. Nice job.
Thanks.
Of course, you edited the heart out of my part.
Billy Newman. Oh, hi, Ted. How was your flight? You find any great shortstops in Sarasota? No, I'm fine. I'm just finishing this piece. You really want to hear? Okay. I'm skipping down near the end. They chose to take a risk because that was part of their job.
Ben Pomeroy, Helen Patterson, and Bob O'Brien all made a choice. The same choice over and over, no matter how stormy their lives. Like a needle returning steadily to a truth.
Well, Julian Sphinx Moth is alive and well in Kern County.
Glad to hear.
16 adults were sighted, as well as 72 pupae.
They counted?
Very carefully. And I hear when they hatched or emerged or whatever it is they do, it was real spectacular.
You hear?
Oh, I didn't get the pictures.
Why not?
It was a choice between leading this maniac collector to the site and having him eventually destroy an entire species by killing...
Of the Sphinx Moth.
What does sex and gender mean to people of other cultures?
Look around the world to find out in the A&E special presentation, The Opposite Sex, Saturday.
Now, a young recruit undergoes the rigors of the police academy course. Kurt Russell stars in Police Story, next on A&E.